Alright, so now that I've been able to do that, the next thing is now to check to be sure that our React Bootstrap has been successfully added. So in order to use React Bootstrap, what you just need to do is just the components you are using. They already have the component for you. So all you just need to do is to import the component from React Bootstrap, then use it in your system. Alright, so to do that, just let's say I want to use stack and I want to use button. So stack is just used to put elements together. Alright, so I'll just say import. So I want to import stack, then I want to import button. So where am I importing it from? I'm importing it from React Bootstrap. Alright, so now that we have that, I will just over here, I will just open a bracket for this, then I will do stack. I'll do stack, and inside the stack, let's say I want to have buttons. Let me call this button link, and also the other one also, let me call this link 1, and I'll just duplicate this using Alt Shift and down arrow, then let me call this link 2. Alright, so I can define some property for this stack. So let me say the direction of the stack, I want it to be horizontal, and also I want to have a gap in between the elements to be gap of 3 is fine. You can also have 2, you can have 1, but for now let's use 3. If we are not fine with it, we can always change it. Alright, so this button can take some properties. So I will take this button as a link, and also I can also add a variant. You can have primary, you can have success, you can have warning, you can have danger. So it depends on how you vary it. If it's primary, it is blue. If it's success, it is green. If it is warning, it is around orange or so, and if it is danger, then it is red. So it varies like that, but mostly you will see primary. Alright, so let's do the same thing for the second button, just to be sure that the class that we have is working effectively and the bootstrap that we added is working as we want it to work. Alright, so now I just put success here. So once I do that, then I'll just save, then I'll come and start my application again. So to start my application, don't forget the command we always use to start the application. It is npm run dev. So that we always use that to start our application. So now once you are sure that your application is running, if there's an error, it will not run, then you might need to fix the error. But for now, if you follow it as doing it, there should not be any error. So with that means once your application is running, you can just go to your browser and go and refresh to see what you have so far. So with this, you can see that we have the blue button, we have the green button. This is the primary, this is the sources. So that shows you that our bootstrap is working as expected, and then we can go ahead with our implementation. So the next thing we are going to consider now, if we go back to this particular notebook, so we have looked at this. These are the codes that we just finished running now. Right, so we have the folder structure, and it was noted here that there's no straight rule to the way you structure your folders. Just ensure that you have your folder in the way that if another person pick up your code, they should be able to add to it, remove from it, and work on it without looking at, okay, what do you do with this, what are you doing with this? So you must be able to structure your code effectively in order to make sure that anybody can pick it up and start working on it without even having to call you, so that they know where you put everything. Right, so let's see how to create our folders. To create your folders, you need two things. You need, actually, when we're working on our application, we are going to be needing some other things. So we are going to be needing the components. Don't forget that every website or every application has some elements that comes together to become the application. So each of those elements, they are called the components. So definitely you are going to be needing a folder for the components. So, and in order for you to create a folder, all you just need to do is to click on the parent that I want to house the folder. So let's say I want to create a folder under this source folder, RSC folder. Then I should click on the folder. Then once I click on the folder, I should now come to this icon that says new folder. So I'll just click on it, and that will create a new folder. So I'll just call this first folder, I'll call it components. So that I will use to house my components, like the elements that will come together to make my application. Alright, so once I've been able to do that, I'll just click on source again. I want to add another folder or context. By the time we get to the database integration, the blockchain integration, you will understand the context better. For now, let's just create the folder the same way we did for the components. So I'll just click on the source folder, then I'll go to the new folder icon, then this folder name will be context. So you understand context better when we get to the backend side. But for now, let us focus on the front-end side, the element side, the component side. Alright, so now that we have been able to do that, the first thing that we are going to consider is because now what we now need to do is we now start switching between your wireframe. Now don't forget to already have a wireframe of what you want to build, what you want to develop. Then you should now start switching between your wireframe and your application. Wireframe and your applications. Okay, you pick it. This is the first component in my wireframe. Then you go ahead to code it. Then you move on to the next one. You go ahead to code it. Alright, so now let us go back to our wireframe. Now, first element is our navigation bar. This particular element, this is our navigation bar. So that is the first component that we should be working towards creating, which is the navigation bar. Alright, so you see how your navigation is. You see, okay, you have the logo, you have some menu items, and you also have a button where the user can connect their wallet. So what you need to do is to open your system, and don't forget that we have a folder called component. So see every element of your application as a component. So when you see those elements as a component, that's when you can now know, okay, like how do I code this? Then you code it separately, you put it in the components folder, so that when you want to use it, all you just need to do is just to call it. So even if you want to use it in more than one places on the website, so it will be easy for you, instead of you doing it several times, all you just need to do is just to call it. So you will see the process that we are going to be taking in installing and setting up each of the components of the website. And don't forget that the first element on our wireframe is actually the navigation bar. Alright, so we are going to go ahead now to create the navigation bar. But now when you come to your component folder, the first folder I want you to create is the index.js file. Now this index.js file is like the default. Anytime you hear index in a application creation process, it is always considered as the default file. That means if any folder or any file is referencing this particular components folder, then the first thing that the particular file or folder will come looking for is the index. So if you don't have the index, then you should specify which file you want to reference. But if you just say I want to come to this component and you don't specify any file, then just trust the fact that the file that is coming to look for this component will look for the index file. But if you don't want to check the index file, if you don't have index file, then you should specify which file you want it to look for. Alright, so it's better we see it than to just